This made me want to pull my hair out. Will the View literally just defend anything at this point? Apparently it's hard to get the modern left to agree to fundamental principles that you can't enter this country illegally, and in response to Donald Trump's deportation drive of illegal immigrants, Whoopi Goldberg and Sunny Hostin went as far as covering for Selena Gomez's embarrassing publicity stunt, crying on her Instagram for her people. Watch this and you'll know what I mean.
Nationwide mass deportation live show that we've been seeing on every network has even featured some guest stars like Dr. Phil. But one celebrity who isn't being welcomed into the conversation is Selena Gomez. Now, she took down an emotional post talking about the impact of these raids on her people. After backlash, here's what border czar Tom Holman and conservative media had to say.
Selena Gomez and the others, I would check your compassionate privilege. Because they never said anything about Laken Riley.
No. Singer and actress Selena Gomez filmed herself weeping today. She was in a, well, let's call it a performative fit of hysteria because Donald Trump is deporting violent criminal illegal immigrants.
We got 500,000 children who are sex trafficked into this country, separated from their families, put in the hands of criminal cartels to be smuggled into the country. This administration can't find over 300,000. Where's the tears for them?
So Selena responded by posting, apparently it's not okay to show empathy for people. So, you know, I guess I'm supposed to ask you if you think the country has a problem finding empathy, but I wonder if you really want to, you know, make an impact, why aren't they sending folks back who are in jail already? Why aren't we seeing those mass deportations of people who have been found guilty of a crime?
By the way, Selena Gomez's people are millionaire celebrities. And there's an easy answer for this, Whoopi. There's a stark legal difference between an illegal immigrant already convicted and serving their sentence for crimes inside the US versus one that can't even be tracked inside the country after crossing the border illegally. By the way, we've got our eyes where the mainstream media won't look, so be sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell to become part of the conversation. And yes, US code mandates that, quote, the Attorney General may not remove an alien who is sentenced to imprisonment until the alien is released from imprisonment. But if you're someone like Selena Gomez, all of that vital context dissolves in a haze of emotions, millions of dollars, and misplaced empathy.
All my people are getting attacked. The children. They don't understand. I'm so sorry. I wish I could do something, but I can't. I don't know what to do.
The poor rich celebrities! But let's not even get too hung up on the details, because what Whoopi was referencing here is the fact that of around 1,200 illegal immigrant arrests a day being claimed by ICE, just around half of them are found to have criminal records, as reported by NBC News. That's a pretty big ratio if you think about it. And as sensible as you may think it is to deport convicted criminal illegal immigrants inside the country, the Views apparently decided to go way into the opposite direction. Here's what Sunny Hostin literally said, that you're a racist and a xenophobe if you even call an illegal immigrant illegal. You know, the same Sunny Hostin who used to be, what was that, a lawyer? That's right. But I've got the perfect response once you watch this.
We keep on talking about criminals and immigrants being criminals. And I just want people to understand what the facts are and the stats are, is that undocumented immigrants are much less likely to have committed crimes than American citizens. American citizens commit more crimes than anyone who is undocumented. I also want to make the point that an undocumented immigrant is not a criminal because he or she is undocumented. That is a civil offense. So to call people illegal is, in and of itself, I think, xenophobic and racist.
And incorrect.
I do. And incorrect. The other thing that I will say is that, to Joy's point, on Sunday, there were 1,179 people arrested. Only 613 of them were considered criminal arrests. That means that the rest appear to be either nonviolent offenders or have not committed any criminal offense at all. And so what we are doing, again, is we have decided as a country to demonize a certain type of immigrant, a certain looking type of immigrant. And those immigrants are either from Central America or Mexico. They are brown. There are a lot of undocumented immigrants here, about 40% of them who come from other countries that aren't brown. But we are not rounding them up. So we are not doing that.
You heard that right. It's like they're not even hiding it anymore. And what a pathetic attempt to turn the border crisis into a question of race by Sonny Austin. It's not like this even matters, but if countries in South America share a border with the US, then of course that's the major demographic you'll see represented in illegal border crossings. So what point was she trying to make there at the end? Not just that, Sonny acted really sure of herself, telling us the difference between a civil offense versus a crime when it comes to entering the country illegally. Well, I'm curious what her response is going to be when US Code 1325 clearly lays out the fact that an illegal migrant can be jailed for up to 6 months, or fined, or both. It's incredible the far-left immigration debate can't stand on the most reasonable middle ground on immigration law, while shielding itself from the consequences and moral lecturing from high above. What you're about to hear next, well, it's a perfect example of that.
To your first question, Whoopi, I think this country is a country that lacks empathy unless you have lived it, unless you have a lived experience. And that is very unfortunate. There are people that live life of privilege who don't walk in those steps. And Liz Cheney, for example, is an example of that. In 2020, she was so against same-sex marriage. She opposed it, she voted against it, until she realized that it caused a rift because her sister was a lesbian.
Just to make
and
this
she switched
a bit of a
gears.
conversation, just two quick things here.
Right?
So on the issue, it is true that statistically migrants in this country are less likely to commit crimes, but you can't, it's the same thing that Democrats did in the election where they're like, crime's actually down. When people know of this woman who was literally set on fire on a New York subway, they don't care what the stats say. She was murdered over the holidays by someone who never should have been in the country.
They should care about the stats.
Secondly, on visa
real
quickly on visa overstays. When you come here on a visa, the U.S. government knows where you came from, what your name is, your place of origin. Yes, there are some who shouldn't be in the country anymore. That doesn't have the same national security risk of people. We have no idea their home origin, where they came from, why they're
and
here,
now
where
I'm
they're
stopping
staying.
you because I gotta go. We'll be right back.
And of course, they stop the show when someone finally starts talking sense. But you know what's funny? Sonny claimed this country lacks empathy, but it's not her place to decide. The last 4 years of disastrous border policy under Joe Biden have made Americans swing to the other direction in desperation, and you see that reflected in polling data from places like IPSOS, and they reveal that nearly 2/3 of Americans support deportation of illegal immigrants inside the country. So perhaps the Democrats need to look into the mirror for their own policy failures that created a reactionary force like Donald Trump, and that's why many center-left figures from the past like Dr. Phil are also realizing just how bad the situation has become, especially when he was reporting from on the ground with Tom Homan, realizing self-confessed criminals were walking the streets with impunity before being arrested.
What have you been charged with?
Charged with?
Before?
I'm not gonna say that. I'm gonna talk to my lawyer.
Yeah. Are you a citizen?
My mom's a citizen.
Your mother's a citizen?
Yes.
But you're not?
Nope.
But you've never been deported before?
You Dr. Phil. You look like Dr. Phil.
Yeah? How do you know me?
No, I seen Dr. Phil, you know, on TV.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, this is an example of sanctuary cities, right? We got an illegal alien convicted of sex crimes involving children, and he's walking the streets of Chicago. Again.
And this is just a snapshot of what we may see moving forward, but the least that should be able to unite the left and the right in this country is the hard legal line of America's laws. But as long as the left plays on identity, race, or some misplaced notion of compassion, well, we'll keep fighting over that fundamental middle ground. But you let me know in the comments how you see all of this playing out in the next few months, and share this with people that have an important voice to add to this conversation. While that happens, perhaps it's best to reserve judgment and trust that the law is robust enough to take its course the right way.